So I'm cooking all the recipes from this cookbook, Mastering the Art of French Cooking, from Julia Child. I'm Jamie. This is Jamie and Julia.
Oh! Bon appetit.
Let's cut right to the chase. I'm making a cream of mushroom soup, potage veloute aux champignons, a fine, rich mushroom soup for grand occasions. Let's make it. Okay, we need an onion. Roughly chopped, Dutch oven. 1.5 ounces, a little over 40 grams of butter. Nothing but net, a little under medium heat because I gotta cook the onions slowly in the butter. Around 10 minutes or so until they have softened, but they haven't browned. So 1 pound, 450-ish grams of mushrooms. So I chose these mushrooms over the white mushrooms because I think it's just dealer's choice. Pick whatever mushroom you want to work with. But I chose these ones because the finished dish isn't gonna have a lot of color to it. So if I can just add a little extra to the dish in the end, then I think that's gonna be best for everyone. Bowl me. Thank you. One thing I get the most hate for on this channel is washing my mushrooms in water. You know, people seem to really have a problem with that. They throw around terms like, never wash your mushrooms. It's like, why? Are they gonna come alive or something? Julia states in this cookbook all the time to wash the mushrooms. And on her show, I have a clip that I'm gonna link right here.
I want to show you about washing them because that's important too. You wash them, you dump them in the water like that. I'll move this over here. And you lift them up with your hands, and any sand that's in them will drop down to the very bottom. Then when they're all washed,
she says it's okay to wash the mushrooms. So, you know, I think it's just up to whoever's cooking. Just if you don't want to wash your mushrooms, you want to just wipe them off, then go for it. I don't really care. But I wash my mushrooms just because there's a lot of shit on them. And the way I do it is like this. I just dunk them into the water and just rub-a-dub-dub. I know mushrooms have a lot of liquid in them and they retain a lot of liquid when you do this, but I'm not too worried about it.
they've got to be absolutely dry. So you take a nice clean towel and you dry them off.
We're all good here. Look, it's all good. They're all clean now. Never wash the mushrooms. Okay, so what do I gotta do here? I gotta chop the stem off each one of these mushrooms. Just like that. These mushrooms don't really have a whole lot of stems going on here, so I'm just gonna work with whatever I got. Just chop it all up. 1,200 milliliters, 2.5 pints of chicken broth. Because I'm using broth, not stock, I gotta add in a bay leaf, a few sprigs of parsley, and about 1/8 teaspoon of thyme. And bring that to a boil. So that's 1.5 ounces, 50 grams of all-purpose flour in with the onions. And stir that. Turn the heat up to moderate for 3 minutes. Have the heat off on the onions, and I'm gonna bring in that hot. Pour in the boiling broth, as well as those chopped up mushroom stems, salt, pepper. The heat goes back on, lid goes on, kind of partially, and I'm gonna simmer this for 20 minutes. So with the mushroom tops, I need to very thinly, slice these up. Like we're talking like, that's thin. Too thin? I varied it up. Some are super thin, some are kind of thin, but they're thin. In my saucepan, I'm gonna add around 1 ounce, 25-ish grams of butter and melt this over there. In go the mushroom caps. Little salt, about a teaspoon of lemon juice. Okay, let's mix that all together. Medium-highish heat should be good. Lid goes on for 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna need a strainer. Great. Also a bowl, please. Yes. Okay, and with these two devices here, I need devices. After 20 minutes of this simmering, I need to skim it. Whoa, very much so. Strain the soup. Okay, let's get that all through the sieve. Squeezing the juice from the mushroom stems through here as much as possible, correct? Firmly pressed down, you can see the mushroom juice is coming through here. That's good stuff. I'm gonna keep doing that until no more juice comes out. All this stuff is not gonna make the cut. We just need the broth. I've cleaned out the sauce pot and I'm gonna pour the broth back in here. After 5 minutes, these mushrooms are done. Mushrooms and the cooking juices into the broth. I think I'm gonna add a little more salt, pepper. Simmer this for 10 minutes.
Skim it.
In a separate bowl, I need to pour in a 1/4 pint, 118 milliliters of heavy cream, as well as 2 egg yolks. Need to beat that in. My soup over here. It's just kind of got like a little film on top that needs to come off. Now remember your training. I've done this countless times for various different recipes from Julia Child, and they're all the same. What I'm gonna do is ladle in some of the soup into the cream and the egg yolk, and then whisk it just to temper it. And how about a little more? Not to get too damn hot. Okay, so once I've added enough soup, cream goes back into the soup. Get that all mixed together. Make a mess. Correct the seasoning. How we doing? Bring this back over to the heat. Moderate heat, 1 to 2 minutes, tops. However, I can't bring this soup anywhere near the simmering point or I fail. So just don't do that. Just keep your eye on it. Parsley on top. Order up. Maybe the soups are the best part of this book, because every single soup that I've made has been
breathtaking.
The mushrooms were beautiful in there. The broth was magnificent. There's like a little, I'm not good with describing this kind of stuff, but like there was a note of like sour in there, and I think that's from the lemon. And overall, just like it's very, like it was complex in like the flavor profile. How about that? Sums it up. It's a fantastic bowl of soup. Okay, that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching Make the Soup. Shout out to my Patreon supporters for supporting the show and keeping me going. And if you're curious about that, there's a link in the description. You can find out more about it. This was Jamie and Julia. Bon appetit. Au revoir.